Not everything about attracting women is just about being a man and having purpose. I mean, those are important, of course, but there are other things that spark attraction in a woman, and today I'm going to share with you what many men don't realize. I'm Erik Peterson, and I'm a men's dating and relationship coach for Skill of Attraction. And there are many things that can lower or raise a woman's attraction for a man. But most of the videos out there will talk about many of the same things. Now, it's not lost on me that I too suggest these common ways to raise women's attraction, but that's because they work. Masculine traits and qualities that women find attractive are not just parroted for the sake of getting views, but because they actually have a very positive effect on a woman's attraction for a man. However, many of those common things that you hear aren't the only things that boost women's attraction. Yes, there are some things that aren't commonly talked about that you should take into account. As an example, one thing that I've repeated numerous times is the romantic element of attraction. This isn't something that you commonly hear about because most of you are red-pilled, and the red pill doesn't speak about those things. Many men don't want to listen to that because they think that it makes them a simp. But that's simply because the men who say that it makes you a simp are just angry that they've tried romance and it backfired. But that was before I came into the picture and showed you guys how to do it right so it doesn't actually backfire. However, romance isn't what we're going to be talking about today. This is nowhere near romance, but equally important. And oftentimes it could lead a woman on the fast track of finding a man very attractive. Now, this isn't a must to spark and maintain a woman's attraction, but it will certainly help, and probably more than you would imagine. In fact, this alone will get a woman's attention if she doesn't know that you exist. I'm sure it's something that you've heard before, but I'm going to try and lay it out much clearer so you understand why it works and how you could use it to your advantage at varying degrees. Meaning that it partly depends on your personality and social skills, but it could still be done. Where am I going with all this? I'm talking about social proof. It's a way of showcasing one's status, especially if he's not a known superstar. But before we get started, be sure to come over to my website and join the growing community about sharing ideas and advice on women and female attraction. It's completely free, and if you need my personal help and want private one-on-one coaching, you could find that there by clicking on the coaching tab as well. Just head on over to soa.fm and register for free, or just simply tap on the coaching tab. And you don't need to be registered to book coaching with me. You only need to be registered if you want to participate on the site and ask questions. Now, what is it about social proof that raises a girl's attraction? Well, like I said, it's a display of a man's status, and women love high status men. This is one of the reasons why male celebrities are kind of like an elusive drug for women. You may have heard women being called star fuckers, which basically means that they would sleep with a celebrity in a heartbeat, and that's because she'd be attaching herself to his status. Have you seen those videos where the interviewer is asking a couple if they would cheat on their partner if they had an opportunity with a celebrity? The women don't even hesitate, and they say yes, where the man says, "Oh, I wouldn't cheat on my girl, celebrity or not." This isn't really about cheating per se, but about women's hypergamous nature, where they seek out men with higher value and status than themselves. Where men want variety with women, women just want the best man that they could get. And by best, I mean a man that has it all. However, because most women don't have what it takes to rope in a man such as, George Clooney or Denzel Washington, they go for the closest thing they have the ability to attract. Oh, and a side note, this is why all of you want to be working on becoming the best man that you could possibly be. Now, someone like George Clooney has extremely high status, but that's obvious. We see him in movies, on TV, in written publications, and so on. Besides having lots of money and good looks, this is one of the reasons why women swoon for him. It's his high status. But most of us aren't in movies, TV, or magazines and newspapers. So your average woman isn't going to know the average man's status simply by looking at him or even meeting him. How do women determine if a man has status or not? Well, they look at his surroundings or how he ranks among his social circle. As an example, if you're considered the leader of your social group, then you have a higher status than the average man. And a woman is certainly going to take notice and find that very attractive. An average looking dude who has high status instantly becomes more attractive in a woman's eyes, whether she realizes it consciously or not. Back in my mid-20s, I used to have these big rager after-hours parties. They were massive and very popular within the nightlife scene of Chicago. They were so popular that, cabbies knew about them. They would line up and down the street, and the police knew about them, of course. And sometimes strangers I just met at the club would tell me that they were heading to a party at some guy named Eric's place. It was kind of crazy to hear that. My point here isn't to brag or to relive my 20s, but to paint a picture of my high status at the time. I didn't have money. I didn't have my life together. In fact, the only thing I had going for me at that time was that I dressed and partied like a rock star. And I had high status within that particular scene. It was really easy for me to get with girls back then. It was so easy that when I got out of the scene and was just living a normal life, I couldn't figure out why I was having so much trouble attracting women all of a sudden. Prior to that, women approached me and they made it extremely easy for me to escalate with her to the next level. I didn't understand until many years later why that was. So I wasn't a celebrity or anything. I wasn't even the leader of my social circle. But because I was the center of attention for these parties, it instantly made me an attractive man to these girls. I knew everyone, and I often had other beautiful women even hanging around me. It probably helped that I was also a drummer in a band at the time, and I had the confidence to believe that I could get any girl I wanted, aside from a handful of girls I would consider tens. Those girls, I was just so intimidated by their beauty, I couldn't bring myself to do it. The funny thing is, I learned years later that had I tried, I could have gotten with a few of those girls. And this is just another lesson for you guys. Just because you think she's out of your league doesn't mean that she thinks that too. And you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Anyway, this is just an example of social proof and how women find it very attractive. I had no idea what I had at the time, but looking back, now of course I see it. You don't have to be some big-time celebrity. You just have to dominate in some social circle, even if it's obscure. Kind of like, what was his name? Farmer Ted in the movie 16 Candles. He was king of the dipshits, which gave him status. It wasn't great status, but it was still status. And I used to know this guy who would go to clubs with two beautiful women on his arms. And he had nothing going on with these girls. They were just friends of his, but they were attractive. And because he did this, it ended up attracting other women to him, like flies to honey. Again, because it gave him some status. So you'll find it very helpful if you could develop some sort of social proof among your peers or scene if you don't already have it. Like me in my 20s, I had no idea what I had, and you may be at that place too. But if you don't, I highly recommend that you find some way to put that together. Perhaps you're the peon of your social circle. In that case, you may have to cultivate a new social circle where you're at the top. As an example, let's say you're into the local music scene. Well, one thing that you could do is start putting on shows. Make sure people know that you're the promoter or the talent scout. Now you have status within that scene. Or perhaps put together a regular meetup for whatever you're into. Of course, if you're more extroverted, you're going to have a much easier time with all this. But personally, I would consider myself an introvert, and I was able to do it, and it was completely by accident. But social proof will certainly boost your status, and in turn, it'll boost how attractive you are to women. Every little bit helps, unless you already are George Clooney. In that case, you already have it all and you probably wouldn't be watching this video right now anyway. So there you go. But if you found this video helpful, be sure to give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends and family. And if you want to be notified in real time of my future videos that I upload, then be sure to hit the subscribe button and tap on the bell icon right next to it. If you found this video worthy of a donation, you can find my PayPal link and Bitcoin wallet address in the description section of this video. So that's it for this video. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Have a good one. Bye-bye.